What's up everybody, welcome back to Market Insights with Linux and welcome to a new video here on Tesla. Wanted to make a new video on this. We reached the price target we talked about in the last video, which was this general area right here between 300 and 290. We spoke about that in general. That's just we had a quite high likelihood to find resistance there. We reached it a little bit sooner than I expected. I mean, I made the video on Wednesday when we left this gap to the downside, which was, well, Tuesday, obviously, we got the news that Elon Musk would step down from Doge, from the Department of Government Efficiency, or at least that he would spend less time there and more time at Tesla. So the price jumped up, even though the earnings were way worse than expected, obviously, on Tuesday. But since then, we rallied, and that was to be expected. I mean, that was in line with the general stock market direction. If you take a look at the S&P 500, right here, yes, this opening today, this Monday, has been relatively bearish. But overall, we recovered very nicely from this support around 512 and 520. For this ETF. I mean, that's obviously, when we're talking about the pure S&P 500, that's 5160 that we bounced from. So in general, that was to be expected. Also, still a little bit of a laggy effect of Elon Musk returning to Tesla. However, what we talked about in the video, of course, is that, or at least I said, I do not expect us to break out above this level, because essentially, I mean, look, this movement here is good. But when we talk about the fundamentals of Tesla, it's and I said this last Wednesday as well, it's still a very interesting and it's still an amazing company. But to break out above such a strong resistance level, which I'll zoom out a bit here, and you can see that we had the 200 EMA there. 300 is obviously a big psychological resistance level, but then outside of that, you can also see historically, it's just a very well tested and a very strong key level. So to break above that, given all the challenges that Tesla has seen in the last couple of months and is still seeing right now with increased competition from China, but also lacking demand. In Europe, just to name an example. I mean, obviously that, well, it matters, but that's obviously not a do or die scenario. But because of that, I found it very, very hard to believe that we would break out of this. And now we can also see that the general US equity markets are at a key resistance level. So I expect us to pull back from this level. Now, then we're talking about multiple levels where we can bounce from, right? So for that, I want to zoom in a little bit more. The first level is a minor key level right here at 267. I don't expect us to find support there. That's the value area high right here, so it does matter, and we do have some liquidity, as you can see, at that area. But I would be surprised if we get there. I think we also have a little bit more uncertainty slipping into the markets with gold rallying here, for example. And the volatility index also spiking up slightly here this Monday. And in general, the fundamentals, of course, around the equity markets are still very uncertain. So I would be surprised if we find a lot of support there. Some intraday support, that's a possibility. And then the first level where I find it very interesting to look at is 250. All right, 250 obviously being a psychological support level, but in this case, it's also doubled with the POC and just in general a major liquidity zone. So then we're talking about the area of 255 down to 240. And what you see very, very often is that when you're trying to break out, which Tesla technically was doing, what happens very often is that the POC is an area where a lot of momentum is found so that we can actually break out. So that's the first area, at least, you know, that's the best case scenario, right? That's the best case scenario in which China and the US find a trade deal and that we bounce from the POC right here and that, you know, maybe we consolidate for a bit longer, but that afterwards we're able to break above 290, 300 to rally into 340 and 350, which is the next target. So that is a possibility. I would still say that is not most likely, right? So I would say at this point of time, looking at Tesla, we find some intraday support at 266, 265. We find more support at 250. But I do think it's most likely we have to return to the bottom of the range at 220, 210. Depending on the fundamentals, if the fundamentals are very bad, we could shoot down lower. But for now, I'd say it's most likely we're going to be able to hold that. And that we need to at least revisit the bottom of the range like we have done once more before we have a chance to have a real breakout, right? So that's what I would expect right here. On the short term, I'll definitely keep my eyes on this and I'll keep you updated on this as well. But that's it for now. So thank you all for watching, and make sure to subscribe to the Telegram group we have in the description. That's for free. Hopefully I'll see you there. Hopefully I'll see you all in my next videos. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.